So actor Alec Baldwin is in court today ahead of jury selection in his criminal trial. This comes nearly 3 years after the fatal shooting of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins on the set of the movie Rust. Baldwin is facing felony charges for involuntary manslaughter, and he faces up to 18 months in prison after a gun he was holding went off during rehearsal, killing Hutchins. The film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, as you remember, already convicted of involuntary manslaughter and was sentenced to 18 months in prison. Our legal contributor and trial attorney, Brian Buckmeyer, joins me now. Brian, I understand that we got a little bit of developing news that happened just in court. The judge denying evidence in Alec Baldwin's role as a film producer.
Yeah, so this is huge because the prosecution wanted to almost get two bites of the apple, so to speak. They wanted to be able to argue that Alec Baldwin was reckless and negligent, both as an actor who handled the gun, but also as a producer or co-producer of the film. And I think under the co-producer, there's a greater chance, in my opinion at least, that he could have been found guilty, at least based on the prosecution's theory, that he in essence created an environment of negligence and recklessness by the way that he handled people on the set, rushing of the armorer to load the gun quickly, but also that he was aware of certain rules. The judge says, no, you're not going to make the argument that he's a co-producer. You're going to simply make the argument here, or evidence will come in, that he is an actor. And that's good for the defense because they get to make the argument, the same thing as the Actors Guild and the unions have said, that the actor isn't responsible for the gun. That's the producer or especially the armorer. So his negligence or recklessness becomes a much stronger argument for the defense based on only that single role as an actor.
So Alec Baldwin claims he never pulled the trigger. So how will prosecutors try to convince the jury that Baldwin is liable then?
So even in the Hannah Gutierrez case, where they had an armorer expert take the stand and basically talk about what we in the legal community call the operability of the gun, how it works and operates, they had to do a bit of a Humpty Dumpty type of situation because the Alec Baldwin case, as we all know, was dismissed at one point because they couldn't figure out whether or not the gun fired properly, then came back after they put Humpty Dumpty back together again, and the prosecution has to prove that nothing in that testing or putting the gun back together affected the gun, and that when Alec Baldwin had it was operable and only operated at the pull of a trigger. The defense gets to make the argument of all this testing and all this moving back and forth of dismissing and bringing the case back, we're not sure, and that's reasonable doubt. Enough, they hope, to prove that Alec Baldwin is not guilty.
All right, stay tuned. Brian, great to see you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. You too.
And thank you for streaming with us. I'm Kira Phillips. The news never stops, neither do we. We'll be right back. More